Hello again, and this is Damien from FixWing PC. And today we have an interesting project, remote security surveillance. Um, call it remote security surveillance because, as you can see from the diagram here, what you're actually going to be doing, you're going to have your surveillance system basically extended to basically an off-site area where you just add some IP cameras and you have your base area where you can monitor everything. Alright, so this was a project we did the other day for our apartment building owner. So you know the apartments, they had like 4 apartments, and the owner didn't want to have to either build another structure to house the surveillance equipment or put it in one of the clients' apartments. You know, he doesn't want anybody having that kind of control or access to the security surveillance for the compound. So what we did, we used these outdoor enclosure boxes here, as you can see right here. And you know, the original plan was to have this NVR inside of this box, but somewhere along the line, the specifications got mixed up when we ordered the stuff, and when it came, this box was 1 inch too wide for this box. So yeah, that caused a problem. And instead of reordering a box and you know, that's time consuming, that's weeks. You know, so we just decided to basically put the NVR on the other side and put the switch over here. Alright, so as you can see, we're using a Netgear switch, just a regular switch. And I have these PoE splitters that are attached to the cable, Cat6 cable that runs into the splitter. And I have a power supply behind this UPS here. I have another power supply that's attached to the UPS that supplies power to the splitters on this end, and then the other end by the camera end there's the splitter that comes out with the power and Ethernet. So this is just an improv solution to some technical miscalculations. Yeah. So we got around that problem, so we didn't have to reorder another box and all that. We just improvised. So yeah, this is basically the configuration of how it's set up. So you have here basically you have the cameras, right, and they are in one network, and you have the wireless bridge that we used, Ubiquiti NanoStation M5s, right, to create the bridge. You had a line of sight to the owner's house, you could say, that was further down the street. So we just had a line of sight directly, so we just put these up to basically extend the network to his house. Alright, and as you see on this side of the bridge, the station is transmitting to the access point, and from the access point it goes to the router. Now I could have used a switch on this side, but you know, the owner opted out of buying any further equipment, so it had enough room on the modem itself. And the flow modems, they have like a 4-port LAN switch built in, if you would say. So there was extra. They don't really use this for anything else. Everybody uses Wi-Fi, so yeah. So they kind of just, not many. Everybody else, as in one other person, uses Wi-Fi. So yeah, we had the space, so we could attach the NVR to this as well, and the access point to this as well. Alright, and then everything goes out to the internet by well, the coax line that came in to the house provides the internet service. So from the internet, it comes in, and the NVR and all that, they're on the network. This is all on the network. And then for remote viewing, it just goes out this link. You have an external IP address, and yeah, you just do your port forwarding, and you port forward the ports to here and from here. Now it was a little tricky getting these cameras over here, because additionally there's another camera on this side. I didn't put it in the diagram, but there's a camera as well on this side of the bridge at his residence. So it's actually 6 cameras, not 5. So there's one more camera here on this side that is directly connected to the NVR. I wonder if I could kind of get that in there. Yeah, let me just make that change really quickly. This mouse. Wow, I'm having difficulty moving this around. Alright, good. Nice. So, yep, just make a nice little line from here to there. Yep, that's quick stuff. Just quick stuff. Just take the life out of this. Alright, there you go. So we have a quick improv diagram here. So now, yeah, we have another. An interesting thing about this is that this camera itself carries. Oh, I have to move from here. Well, let me undo that. This camera itself carries another IP address okay, so this carries a different IP address. Oh, it's upside down, isn't that interesting? Alright, so let's undo all of this. Yeah, let's undo that too. Right, so let's put this back around. There we go. And let me get a regular text box. Put that somewhere. And then I'll make it up. Alright, and then I'll see this somewhere right here, and then I'll move it up. Working with Visio is always fun. Alright, good. So right, now that we have that figured out. Yeah, so yeah, this is the complete diagram now. Save this one time. Yeah. So right, so this, notice this is two different networks, right? So I'm gonna show you how we got around this little issue right here. It wasn't complicated. Just took an entire day to actually sit down and realize, oh, we have to check that button. Yeah. So right, so we had a camera attached directly to this NVR on this side. So basically what this can do is that you have the NVR over here. You can, this is an 8-port PoE NVR, so you can have 8 cameras over here. And then via this network here, you can add an additional, I didn't check how many, but pretty sure you can add an additional 8 cameras over here as well. Alright, or maybe just 8 cameras total. I have to get specific with the paperwork, the data sheet to have those fine details. You should check your data sheet to see what it can do. But as it is, I know I can get 16 cameras on this system. Alright, so yeah, so let's go and get into the other specifics. So yeah, so this is how the basic structure looks. Alright, this is the basic structure. Here we have the outdoor enclosure. The camera is all around attached to it here, and then there's another cable that goes out to the wireless access to the station, which forms a wireless bridge to the access point. The access point has a cable that runs directly to the router, and then the router also has an attachment to the NVR, and we have another cable that runs to one of the other IP cameras on the other side at his residence. And then all of that is connected to the internet via the coax cable that came in, and well, Ethernet over coax. So alright, so apart from this, let's get into the changes that we had to make. Now there's another segment in this video upcoming that will cover the configuration of this wireless bridge. But what I want to get at is this, configuring this, not in great detail, but just to get these cameras to show up. So what I have here is right, this picture here. You had to go into, when you log into the NVR, whatever IP address, like 192.0.254, you get into the configuration, you go down to network, and then advanced settings, and then you go all the way over to other, and the other section you have to check this box right here. Very important that you check this box, otherwise you will not be able to properly view the the other IP cameras, you will have to literally log into them individually to get a view, or you'll have to set them up individually and then add them every time you use the app or anything like that. You have to add them individually to the camera. They appear as their own entity instead of as in conjunction with the NVR as a camera attached. They appear separate on the network, and you have to join several of those images for it to work. Alright, so yeah, you have to make sure you enable virtual host. It took a while to find this. So I'm just trying to help out. Alright, and then also, having enabled the virtual host, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get, this is the one, this here. This IP address here. Now, to get here, you have to go to configuration. Sorry. Right, you have to go to configuration and system and come down to camera management, and you'll get this. Right? Now, once here, this IP address here, this one, D01 192.168.2542, this is actually this camera here. So notice that it has a 254 network, and everything else has 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And then we have 254s and all that down here. Alright? Now, see this in offline, this is online, yeah, the password. This is just like the temporary setup. Change your password. Anyway, this is just a snapshot of when I was setting it up. So, this one here, you can use this link to view this camera. But as I said, when you enable the virtual host, you then have to use the SADP tool, which comes with the disk that you get with the NVR. Use the SADP tool. You can download it from Hikvision site as well. But you need to use that tool to then find the rest of cameras. They will have a 254 address as well. They'll have 2543, 2544, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever address they will have. You have to go there. You have to change the IP address. And in addition, you're going to have to change the management port. You have to give each their own management port. It's advisable that you do this. It's very important. Even though you're changing the IP address, and you could put each on the same management port per IP address. I did this as an extra precaution because after a day of troubleshooting, I did not want any more headaches. So I just basically, take front before front take you, as we say. Did this in advance, so there will be no problems. And as soon as I did this, make these changes, and lined up the username and password with the NVR's username and password, then they all started coming online. Boom, 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 boom. They all came online, which was good after a day of troubleshooting, I said. So I was like, alright, this is good. So this is how you get it to actually work, because you see it's two different networks. The NVR creates on the ports that are attached, the PoE ports, creates its own internal network. If you have to attach anything to get to this, you have to literally change over, because even though this says 0200, the management port is 80. No, sorry, not even the web port is 80. So you have a management port, you have a web port. You change all of that in the SADP to change your management port to 65002 or whatever number you choose to do this at. I just chose this number because it was recommended on the Hikvision forum. It was recommended. So this is, I use the recommended settings. Alright, and you follow that, you should be alright. Yeah, also, right, so I changed this, and that's how I got them all to work. So having gotten this to work, yeah, it was a really good feeling, trust that. So beyond that was just to finish configuring the cameras, the settings for indoor, outdoor settings, and frame rates, and setting up motion detection and all that. Yeah, so you would see after this segment here, there'll be a segment on the setting up of the wireless bridge, and then you'll see the finished result, where I just went around taking a video basically of the entirety of what was done at the end. So alright, so join me on the next segment where I continue to configure the wireless bridge and then for the final piece where we just show you the end result of the entire project. So this is basically the logical infrastructure on paper. That's how it looks. In real, there'll be other things, like there'll be trunking work, and you see where we use flex conduit to go around certain obstacles. Instead of bending pipe, we actually use PVC flex conduit, so it works better. It's easier to work with, because if we had to actually bend the pipe, it would have been, it might not have looked as good as it did, but you'll see that in the video. You'll be your own judge. So yeah, so this basically works out. As I said, this equipment, I love using this equipment because it's simple to work with, easy to work with, and it's reliable. It's a lot cheaper than some of the other equipment out there. You'd have to buy some fancy Yagi antenna, and it probably wouldn't have the right range, or a lot of tweaking and extra additional stuff you need to get. With this, you just need to get the equipment. It comes with tie straps, and I made an interesting little bracket for it. I wonder if I could get a picture to show. Yeah, let me get a picture and I'll be right back. Hold on, let me get a picture. Alright, so I got a picture. Right, yeah, so we got a picture over here. As you can see, this is one end of the wireless bridge. Right, as you can see, yeah, so we used, let's try to magnify this a little bit. Get up a bit. Right, so you can see where we used PVC to make a bracket. So you see, put this box here, we made a nice little bracket, and this is the flex conduit I was mentioning. Very sturdy and reliable. You can use your normal pipe fitting ends. And made the cable run, and then you see we have trunking work. Put cans on the end, put the camera on the end of each. So this is the other side of the bridge, lower down the street. You can see now the extent of that bracket that we made. Don't worry, patent pending. Alright, so you're gonna have to pay if you want to get this stuff done. I'm just joking. Alright, so yeah, we basically use this. This is just improv. The original brackets that I ordered were going to take 6 to 8 weeks to arrive, and that's a definite delay I cannot use. So there are brackets that sells for this, the universal mounting arm that most people use, but I found this to be pretty good for my uses. It worked excellently, as a matter of fact. Worked beyond what I thought it would have done. It made the lineup really good. You just have to get your height right. That's why you leave room to go up and down the pole. Yeah, so yeah, sorry about that. I keep having little interruptions. Yeah. Right, so this is the brackets right here. So yeah, as you can see, this is how we did it. So I can zoom in a little closer, get a better look. Right, so you see the cable coming out from the access point. This is the side with the access point, and it's going directly into the pipe, going around here. Right, so we get stuff done. Don't make things a problem. Alright, so that one is that. So yeah, as I said in the other part, the other segment, you'll see the configuration for the wireless bridge. Then after that, you're going to see the end result. So thanks again, and continue viewing. And yeah, we'll speak to you at the end again. Thank you.